All right, we're looking to get an update in South Carolina. Governor Henry McMaster giving an update right now. Let's take a listen in.
Northeast of Myrtle Beach. Florence is a very large storm, and if you were to look on radar at the rain shield, you will see that it's approximately the size of the state of South Carolina. One big problem is that Florence is only moving at 5 miles an hour, which is only a little faster than the average walking speed of a person. This means we're in for long duration impacts, especially across the northeast part of the state. There are many hazards associated with Florence, so I'll break down some of the biggest impacts we're concerned with. One is the wind. Hurricane force winds are possible into this evening across the Grand Strand as the center of Florence slowly shifts westward into the northeast part of the state. Tropical storm force winds will spread into parts of the Low Country and Midlands tonight into Saturday, with wind gusts to about 50 miles an hour as it weakens into a tropical storm and eventually crosses into the Midlands on Saturday. Winds should then diminish on Sunday as the remnants of Florence lift northwest out of the state. These winds will likely result in downed trees and power outages across many parts of our state. Rainfall and the likelihood of deadly flash flooding is perhaps the biggest concern. Catastrophic rainfall amounts of 15 to 25 inches is expected across parts of the Grand Strand and PD. Rainfall amounts drop off as you head south and west across the state, but in the I-26 corridor extending from Charleston, Columbia, and into the Greenville-Spartanburg area, rainfall amounts could be as high as 3 to 7 inches, which could be enough to produce flash flooding in low-lying and urbanized areas, as well as in the mountains of South Carolina. The heavy rain potential will persist through the weekend. As has previously been mentioned, this will be a multi-phase event, as once the water falls, it will flow into area rivers and is expected to produce major to record-breaking floods across portions of the PD and Catawba River basins beginning late this weekend and persisting through next week. So given the threat for flash flooding and eventual river flooding, it's important to be prepared to seek higher ground if you live in a low-lying or flood-prone location. Never drive across water-covered roadways, which is the main cause of freshwater fatalities. Thank you, Governor.
Thank you, John Quararello. Well, as we've seen, this Hurricane Florence is different from those we've had before. This hurricane is going to be with us for about 2 days. If you remember when Hurricane Hugo came along in 1989, that was a huge hurricane. It came through McClellanville, just north of Charleston, at about midnight. It was in Columbia at about 2 a.m., and then it was in Charlotte by 5 a.m., and people were waking up in Charlotte to see the trees knocked down, big live oaks and others knocked down in Charlotte. So it was like a rocket through our state compared to Florence. Florence is here to stay for a while, and as John Quararello pointed out, that means all this rain that you see here, which is about 300 miles across, which as he pointed out is as big as our state, is going to be with us, falling not only on us, but it's also falling, as you can see, in North Carolina right now. And a lot of that rain in North Carolina comes into the rivers that flow across South Carolina, particularly in the PD. So the PD is going to see a lot of flooding. We're liable to have flooding all over the state, because this is something that we have not seen before, this much rain, a hurricane staying on top of us for this long. So that means, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have patience, we're going to have to be careful for a long time, and then we're going to have to deal with a lot of water after the winds leave, and that brings a whole new set of consequences up, in addition to the high rain and the high winds and the surge that we're experiencing now. We will have, as I said, the flooding is, and we're very familiar in the Midlands with the flooding of 2015. For instance, in Columbia along the Gills Creek watershed, everybody knows what happens there. You could barely see the tops of cars on Forest Drive out near the Forest Acres and towards Fort Jackson. But that rain and that flooding equals danger, and that means we're going to have patience. And that also means that there will be times when we will have to really be on the lookout for the looters and those who would try to take advantage of this situation. And I assure you that law enforcement in South Carolina will show no mercy and spare no quarter to those who are seeking to take advantage of this situation. We are not going to have electricity in large parts of the state for maybe days and maybe even weeks, because the people cannot get in to fix those things until the rains are gone and the waters are gone. And of course, we know the waters will be coming a day or so, that is the flooding, a day or so after the winds are gone. So this is going to be a very trying period. This is something that we haven't had before, but I'm sure that it's something that we are equal to. We're liable to have bridges that are impassable, roads that are washed out, flash floods, maybe even landslides in the mountains. Do not drive around the barricades. These are the same warnings and urgings we've been doing throughout. Be careful, be smart. If you have any questions, call the authorities. Go to SCEMD.
Just listening to South
As other
Carolina Governor
federal
Henry
agencies
McMaster talking about the damage that their state could see from 15 to 25 inches of rainfall, and they will be dealing with it for the next few days.